What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for joining me once again here in my kitchen. I do just want to apologize real quick for the weird grayish glare out the back window here. It's March, we're getting March weather, but that's okay because since it is March, that means St. Patrick's Day is just a few days away, and today we're going to go over how to make your corned beef dish just a little bit better. Now, I'm sure most of you just every year stick the corned beef into a pot of water and boil it with all the vegetables. And that's fine. That is the traditional way of doing it. Actually, in Ireland, they tend to use a ham. It's a boiled ham rather than beef. But otherwise, yeah, you just stick it in a pot and boil it. But we are going to do it just a little bit different to make it a little bit better. And there are plenty of methods out there. This is just one that I like to do. And it's very, very simple, guys. You can do this one also. First thing you need to do is get the pot you're going to make your corned beef in and get it nice and hot with some olive oil on the bottom. I have already done that. You don't want a lot of olive oil because you don't want the grease pools in the water. Not that it matters, you just don't want it. You want just enough to put a light, thin layer, you know, not even a full layer. It doesn't have to fully coat the bottom. You just kind of want it there to help keep things from sticking. Then what you are going to do is you are going to take a salt and pepper mix like I have right here. You're going to sprinkle very, very lightly because corned beef is already very salty. You're going to sprinkle that on your corned beef just a little bit, okay? Don't go crazy. Like I said, it's already in a brine. It's already very salty. Then you're going to take this nice fatty part that a lot of people like to trim off. Don't do that. You're going to take this fatty part, you're going to lay it right down in the pan. You hear that sizzle? That's what you want. You're going to let that go for a couple of minutes. You know how when we sear off the meats we did in other videos, I'm yelling a little bit over the sizzle, I'm sorry. That's what you want to do. You're going to let this go, you know, 3 minutes maybe. You don't want to burn it, so keep an eye on your heat, okay? But you do want to let it go for a few minutes. And you're just going to let that fat, you're going to let that cook for a little bit. You're going to let that render down, create a nice fatty deliciousness, and it's going to get some of that flavor also into the pan, okay? Now let me go wash my hands for the next step. Alright guys, now we've been searing for about 3 minutes. We're going to take a quick look here. As soon as I can grab this thing, there we go. Come on. Alright, not too bad. We got a nice little golden brown sear on here. That's kind of what you're looking for. And obviously you don't really want to pull it out of the pan too much. I'm just doing this to show you guys. You can see the edges here where it's nice and golden brown. We can even go a little bit longer, alright? And I'm going to actually let this go for a couple more minutes and just really bring it a little more golden brown, and then we'll turn it over and I'll show you guys what to do next. Alright guys, I have just flipped my meat over. It is looking primo. Now we're going to let it sear on this side for about 2 or 3 minutes. We're not going to go too long on the sear on this side. It's really just to kind of help seal in that flavor a little bit. But you don't want to go too heavy because we don't want it to really cook much. We just want that little bit of crust. So I'm only going to do about 2-3 minutes on this side. Alright guys, so I have let the other side sear down just a little bit, and now we're going to get some stuff into the pot. But we're not going to put everything in just yet, and I'll tell you why. First, I'm going to take some onion. I like to add a little bit of onion to mine, okay? It brings a little extra bite. You don't have to do this. I like the little extra that it brings to it, and you can use whatever kind of onion you want. I'm using yellow to kind of bring out the sweetness in the corned beef. And then you want to take, and this is important, cold water, alright? Cold water. You don't want hot water. You want to do this with cold water, alright? And you're going to just pour that in. And you want to make sure that you have enough water in here to cover the slab of beef entirely. You hear how it got quiet, no more sizzle? That's because the water's cold. That is a good thing. And the reason you start with cold water is because it is going to help the flavor of everything pull together. It's going to give it more time for that flavor to sit in and absorb into the water and cook into your meat by starting with cold. So now you've got your water in there. You got the extra onion if you want in there, okay? Now we're going to take a little flavor packet that comes with the corned beef. Alright, we're going to cut that open. We're going to throw that in there. Okay? Alright. Get it unstuck from your fingers. I personally also like to add the blood from the package into the beef, although this is kind of congealed a little bit, so it makes it a little harder. I like to add some of the blood in, just for a little extra beefy flavor, if you will. And then, And this is a little trick a buddy of mine who also happens to be a chef and my brother-in-law showed me, is if you add a little extra pickle seasoning to the mix. Ooh, we don't want those big chili peppers in there. But if you add a little extra seasoning to the mix, it does help also enhance the flavor of your corned beef. And now, guys, you don't want to add your vegetables now, okay? You want to wait to about 45 minutes to an hour before it's finished. Now, for corned beef, it's supposed to be 1 hour per pound of meat. Now, this is a 5-pound slab of beef that I have here, so this is going to be about 5 hours, which is why I'm starting it so early in the day. Now, in about 4 hours for me and about half a second for you, we're going to throw in the vegetables and let those cook, and I'll give you a little bit more information on that when we get there. Alright guys, welcome back. So we are right about the 3-hour mark now, and it is time to add in our cabbage. Now we're adding the cabbage in now because there is about an hour of cooking left, and the cabbage is actually, it's a very tough green vegetable. It's going to take a while to cook down and really get to a point of a pleasing, edible texture that'll match the rest of the meal. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in now, all right? And we've got ours cut up. We quartered it, we took the core out, and we just cut it in half and then cut it in quarters and then cut up those quarters even smaller. So we're just going to throw all this in, and we're going to let this cook down. And then, in about half an hour or so, we're just going to dump these in while we're talking here. We're going to put in the carrots and potatoes. So in about an hour, we will be done and ready to go. And I can't wait because I am starving and it smells delicious. Alright guys, so the cabbage has now been cooking for about half an hour. It's time to finally add the carrots and the potatoes. Now I've already got mine diced up. Cut them up earlier in a nice little oblique kind of shapes here. Makes a fun little design. And as far as the potatoes go, I'm actually using a yellow potato. You can use any kind of potato you want. It really doesn't make a difference. Just make sure that you wash them off. And when you cut them, make sure that you have them sitting in water. That's going to help keep them from going all brown and nasty on you. It's also going to get any of that extra dirt that you didn't really get off once you strain it out before you add it to the pot. Make sure you strain it out. Let me stress that. I probably should have led with that, but yeah, make sure it's all strained out. And you're going to just go ahead and add these in. Now, and then guys, you just kind of want to push it down, mix it around, make sure it all gets in the water. I actually am a little overfilled here because I added some water. I had boiled down a little low. So we're actually a little over full at the moment, but that's all right. It'll cook back down and everything will be delicious. See when it's done. Alright guys, our St. Patrick's Day dinner is finally finished cooking. And I mean, just look at how nice and bright that carrot is. That right there is why you wait until the very end, the last half an hour, to add your carrots and potatoes. Because they look great, they are fully cooked, but they're not mushy and gross. They don't have an ugly gray color to them, and it helps keep the dish just a little bit brighter. So now that it's done, I've got it turned off. I'm going to dig around in here a little bit. There we go. Find that meat. We're going to pull out that nice slab of corned beef. It should be nice and tender. Look at that covered in cabbage. Oh, that looks so good, doesn't it, guys? Oh, I can't wait. So now, all that's left is to let this rest for a little bit, drain out our vegetables, have ourselves one heck of a meal. Now yes, this particular corned beef brisket is kind of small, and this is just for tonight's dinner. I am going to be making a lot of corned beef on St. Patrick's Day itself, where I will have leftovers, and we will be making Reubens. So if you want to see how to make the best Reuben you have ever had, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with the notifications turned on so you don't miss that, because that will be coming up shortly after St. Patrick's Day. Until then, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, if you learned anything, if you had a good time with it, throw a thumbs up on there for me, alright? And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that happy stuff, and help our channel grow here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay hungry. Hey guys, Future Hatter just popping in at the end here. First of all, I want to thank you if you've made it this far. You are amazing for staying all the way to the end, and then even after the end, to get this little blip here. Now, I got a little tip for those of you who stayed as a thank you. When you make your corned beef for St. Patrick's Day, save some of that liquid, save some of that water that you cook it in. We're going to want that for when we make the Reubens, and you'll see why. I'll see you then. Thanks again.